What's up, girls? Day one. I'm so glad you're here. If I haven't thanked you already, I'm thanking you now. Thank you, because the next 2 weeks are going to light you up and you're going to dig deep. Some of it's going to be uncomfortable, but I promise you, if you roll up the sleeves and you do this work, it is profound. And I always say you cannot unlearn this stuff. So powerful. And remember too, if you are thinking that this is really hard, it will be. But if you go into this with joy, and we're going to talk a lot about that, then you could see change can happen in an instant. And that is so freaking empowering. And this is all about radical self-love. So today, we're going to dive right in. The first 2 days, this is how we're going to work. We're going to first talk about your hormones a little bit. And we're going to talk about your emotions and how they're tied together. And we're going to talk about the feelings that they evoke. And the reason why I want to do that first is that we cannot really dive into some thought-provoking questions on self-love until we have a working knowledge of how your hormones, your thoughts, your feelings, your beliefs, and ultimately your actions are all freaking tied together. And once we understand that, we could just pour down love on ourselves because everything will start working. And that's what this is about. At the end of this 14 days, I want you to feel completely, massively in love with yourself as you are right now. That you are enough. That's my end goal. Yes, do I want you to achieve your fitness goals? 100%. But I want you to truly feel in every cell of your being that you are enough. So let's kick it off. Okay, here's the deal. We're going to basically talk about two of the most common emotions that we experience as women: worry and stress. And the emotions of stress and worry, I don't want to call it anxiety. And again, here, if you are suffering from anxiety to the point of dysfunction, then please reach out to me so that we can connect and we can talk about getting you referred to the appropriate mental health professional. But we're just going to say worry, okay? Worry, stress means you have too much future in your life. What do I mean by that? Well, when you are stressed, and we'll talk more about this tomorrow, or you're worried, you're constantly playing out the future, right? You are totally in a tape of like, oh my God, I'm so worried because I think this is going to happen, or that is going to happen, or that isn't going to happen. And when you are in that state, your body actually releases chemicals like epinephrine, norepinephrine, better known, as adrenaline, and they trigger our fight or flight response. And we go into what we call a resistance phase. And in that phase, the body is like, okay, we need to handle this situation. You're in danger. We've got to send the heart rate up. We got to get fatty acids into the bloodstream. We got to get the heart racing. We got to do something. We got to tense those muscles up. We've got to resist this stress by fighting it or fleeing it. And cortisol is then released. Thyroid is elevated in response to the stress, okay? And now in a normal human, that happens and that's okay. Because once we go into that fight or flight, then the emotion is recognized. We become aware of it, okay? And then we can have that choice to stop it. And once we do, the body comes back to homeostasis. But if we don't recognize that and we stay in a constant state of worry, then guess what? We hit what we call an exhaustion phase in exercise physiology, meaning that the body can't return to homeostasis. And because of that chronic state of worry, it lowers our immune function. It increases our stored fat, particularly around the belly. It can create organ breakdown, serious fatigue, muscle wasting, and long-term disease. So, we're going to, literally in the next 2 weeks, gain personal power over that whole cycle. The next emotion I'm going to touch on is resentment. And resentment or anger or even manifesting as sadness comes from too much past. We're living in the past. We're holding on to past hurt. We're holding on to things somebody did to us years ago. And why do we do that? Well, most of us hold on to resentment because we believe if we hold on to it, it's going to serve the other person in some way. It's going to change the way they are. And guess what? That is so not true. And we're the ones that suffer. We hold on to resentment because we believe we're justified in feeling that way, instead of recognizing that it is what it is and it already happened. And guess what? You can just simply let it go. Because emotions of resentment, anger, sadness have a similar hormonal response as, you got it, stress and worry. So same thing I just said, the same thing happens when we're living in the past or we're living too much in the future. And guess what? When we are secreting epinephrine, norepinephrine, cortisol, right? These adrenal pushes. It's not just that we're increasing the levels of all these hormones and creating this volatile internal environment. The body does something magical. It's called negative feedback. And what that means is if we're over secreting certain hormones, it means that we are inhibiting or stopping the production of other hormones. So when we're in this state of worry, of resentment, we are literally inhibiting or blocking the body's ability to secrete our feel-good chemicals, like our endorphins, our oxytocin, our serotonin. So again, on a chronic level, think about the magnitude of that as it pertains to how we love on ourselves, right? We've literally just removed our feel-good chemicals. So how likely is it that we're going to feel good about ourselves? I hope that makes sense, because you're going to take control of this. How? The solution. More now. That is the solution. So today's lesson, you are going to become acutely aware of when your mind starts to go off in the state of worry, too much future, or into that state of resentment, anger, sadness, too much past. And you are going to literally become aware, pull yourself out. Now, girls, you have a choice. You could stay there and you could stay stuck, and that is up to you. But if you feel that emotion in your body, you feel what it feels like. What does that actually feel like? Icky. Maybe you start to feel tired from it. Maybe you feel jittery from it. Feel that in your body and then make a decision. I don't want to be there. So guess what? Bring yourself into the now. How do you do that? Become acutely aware of what you are doing right now in this moment and engage in it fully. Maybe you're at work. Maybe you're just so bored and so understimulated that you have let yourself go into a state of past or into a state of future. But guess what? Pull it back. Notice something. I really like my nail polish today. It's such a beautiful color. Boom, you have stopped the tape. It doesn't have to be radical and profound yet. Just, I want you to start connecting the dots of awareness and becoming fully present, because that is going to help you as we get into self-love and getting into your joy state and getting you back to the natural high vibe that you deserve to be at. Big, long lesson to kick things off, but a very easy thing to do today. So you are going to go on a now challenge for the next 24 hours. Your now challenge. Every time you're in the future or you're in the past, you want to pull it back into the present. Comment below. Let me know if you have questions or comments about this, and let me know how you did. And we're going to check in on 3 things every day because they help us with self-love and being present. Number 1, what are you grateful for? Write it down. Even if it's 3 things, check in, use the comments below to do that and hold yourself accountable. Number 2, what's one thing you're celebrating today? No, not like a birthday or an anniversary, just something that you're honoring. Maybe it is just having a beautiful manicure. something to celebrate. Could be something little, could be something major. What are you celebrating today? And number 3, what is your daily act of self-love today? What is you are going to do something to love on yourself every day. Okay, maybe it's giving yourself 5 extra minutes in the car before going into your crazy house and just listening to your favorite song in the driveway and breathing. I'll use the manicure. Maybe it's going for manicure. You don't have to spend money. You don't have to take extra time. But what are you doing today to love on yourself? So those 3 things are what you're going to check in on in the comments below. Also, what comes up for you in the lesson. Let me know if you have questions. Boom! Day 1. Radical self-love. Peace out. Love you all.